right. Let them have their time. And I have this notion, let's keep these wheels in motion. In motion. For what I did not know. Did you think I would let it go? Oh no. And in time, yes, I'll think it's absurd, but until then you'll leave your words. But lay on, lay on. Now it's time to defend your lies, lies you've been feeding me all this time. And will you reoffend? Oh darling, you say that you are innocent, but your words, they seem irrelevant, but still play on. Now it's time to defend your lies, lies you've been feeding me all this time. And will you reoffend? Oh darling, have you reached your lover's end? No more. Will we make pretend like we something to fight for? Oh. We had nothing to fight for. We had nothing to fight for. We had nothing to fight for. We had nothing to fight for.
Good evening, race fans. UrbanPyrate here, Black Flag Racing TV, and it's Wednesday night, which means one thing and one thing only. We're back with the ZFS Racing World Series Season 4, and if you caught up with all the action from Lobby 1 and 2 last week, then you will know you are in for an absolute treat this evening. Fantastic racers, fantastic format, and we're back at the Nürburgring, this time in the GR3 cars, and this time for the full GP circuit. Not gone full Nordschleife yet, but we are doing the GP circuit. So it's going to be slightly quicker lap times, of course, in the GR3s, and a few more corners to contend with. 5.1 kilometres of racetrack, 3.1 miles, or 3.2 miles for those that want it in real money, and 15 glorious corners. Expecting lap times to be in and around the 2 minute mark ish. I have got a little technical issue I've just noticed, which I'm going to try and fix now on the fly. So I'm going to put that back up so you can't see what I'm trying to fix. I don't know why it's just done it. It's literally just gone brain fart on me, total brain fart on me. Yeah. Talk amongst yourselves. Hello everyone. Amsterdam, Lil Ron, Pooptown Race Team, Lazy Dutchman Arby, and Militidas. How you doing, guys? Good to see you around. What is going on with this now? Ah, there we go. I found the problem already. For some strange reason. Why has it done that? That's that one I want. Okay. It's not fixing. Sorry guys. Technical issues galore. I've been having a few issues lately with some things, and I can't understand what's been the problem, in all honesty, but close. Right, back in 2 seconds. I'm back. I fixed it. No panic. Talk amongst yourselves now. Right, there we go. Yeah, for some reason the race screen had disappeared from underneath all the other information. I couldn't get it back. Yeah, it happens sometimes. You think that's a big issue? Saturday we did the GT Alphas, right? And you want to talk about massive issues there. The first lobby absolutely went crazy. So on my screen everything was normal. It looked like one guy was having a technical failure with his wheel. What actually happened is that half the cars got away from the line, the other half got stuck on the line and couldn't pull away. But I couldn't red flag it because I couldn't see the issues. And then we got to like turn 3 and there were some cars were like 6 seconds ahead. It was mental. But that always happens just before an update, as we know. And apparently there's quite a big update coming this week. Right, let's have a little look and see at some info. That's the race predictions for today. Sheikh Djibouti was absolutely awesome last time out. And he's expected to win again today with for Ninja Blade Racing. With Amsterdam coming in second and JJ coming in third. That's the predictions for drivers. For the team points, Ninja Blade Racing, as you expect with Djibouti racing for them. They're predicted to win with KW Customs and then So Salty coming in third place. I don't see Sheikh Djibouti in the room though, which means he's not going to win. Clearly, that's usually what happens if you're not there. Yeah, it happens, Arby. It happens. Yeah, good. You're right, then. Good luck, all drivers. We're going to see some great cars out of the GTR Nismo, the V12 Vantage, RCZ, NSX, the 4C, which actually is a much better car than it looks like it should be. But it is an Alfa Romeo, and we all know that Alfas are brilliant, or they're not. And the Z4 as well. The Z4's a decent motor. Now, ZFS Racing, what's it all about? I hear you cry. Well, it is a innovative meta game within a game, with its own GT7 career mode. Go and check them out. Web address is right there, zfsracing.co.uk. You sign up, you get 100,000 ZFS credits, with which you buy a garage and you can buy your first car. The more you race, the more credits you earn, the better sponsorship you can get, etc., etc., the more cars you can buy. Obviously you get the cars in the game, but the cars you can use are only the ones you can buy unless they specify it's a non-thingy. It's taking a skip round by the looks of it. Okay, right, okay. So, just to clarify, Sheikh Djibouti is taking a skip round by the looks of it. That essentially means that they can drop 2 rounds, but it does affect their sportsmanship rating if they don't show up, which is a good thing. I think you should rock up to every race and not let people down. Right, it is qualifying time, so without further ado, we'll get in and we'll have a little shifty, shall we? 10 minutes qualifying, and then it's 21 laps from rightly, something like that. Who's going to be out first? Amsterdam's already on the racetrack. So I just got to open something to my daughter because she's incapable of opening a piece of plastic, despite being 9 years old and having motor skills. Right, so, don't want that view, do we? We want to have a look at you. There, we want to get properly on board. What car's he in, actually? Ooh, that's an interesting choice. That's the, that sort of BMW McLaren thing, isn't it? Interesting. Interesting choice. That's the Honda NSX for Gary Clark. Evil Ducats in the 4C. Do like that livery, very nice. JJ Hall in that BMW Z4. Very, very nice looking race livery, that. GT Bro Gooder. He's in the Nissan GTR. Very space age Tron looking number. Stu Shelton, old friend of Black Flag, race for KW Custom. He's in that Peugeot RCZ. Not a fan of that car, but if you can get the car rolling, it's not bad at all. Rabid, he's in the Aston Martin V12. The engine on that is just a beast. Vescu has gone for also the BMW Z4. He's racing for Dead Bunny Racing. Big Brexit Husband, he's in the 4C. I like that. It's very, very makes the car look cooler than it actually looks. Edinburgh Lad also in the NSX. Very cool livery for him. Mr. Xtino. I know, that's insane. It's like 2 car brands. He's gone for, actually, he's basically taken the Gran Turismo movie livery and just stuck what looks like a bum on the side of it, to be fair. Less said about that, the better. So just the 11 runners this evening, which is always interesting. Right, Amsterdam, where is he? He's let's find somebody who's starting a hot lap. There we go. Vescu, on board with Vescu. So you come out of the last corner, you hot foot it down under sheer driving pleasure, crossing that line, keeping your car to this left hand side before you look for the little kink in the road and 100 metre board. You want to brake in a straight line, hard down, clipping the apex if you can. A bit better than that would be good. And then through turn 1 you go. Very tricky turn 2 here. You're kind of almost waiting, patiently waiting for you can hit the throttle again, using that road exit on the right, all roads I'll say, on the right hand side, before you again break down, left turn, right turn. You've got loads of road you can use here. It looks like a track limit violation, but it's not. You head down, flicking to the right hand side. Unlike last week, we're not going right here, we're going left into the bottom end of the circuit. You've got a big braking zone for this big hairpin. It's a looping hairpin. You've got to be careful of the gravel on that left hand side, up towards the next big hairpin, which is even more complicated and even more gravel on that left hand side. But you want to hug that inside for as long as possible. Use all the road on the exit. Get it over to that right hand side as quickly as you can. You're going to flick, oh, he's just dropping back. You're not allowed to overtake during qualifying, I believe. You've got to flick it left and right through the Schumacher S, and then you're heading up the hill, climbing, ready for the big run towards the end. Flicking it around to the left hand side. Be careful not to use the too much of the road there, and you've got to be careful through here, because sometimes you just a little bit too far left and you're going to lose the back end of that car. Up the hill you go, through the dreaded penalty line, to flick it round this right hander at full pelt, drifting the car to the right hand side for the big chicane at the end of the lap. 100 metre boards where you're getting those brakes on. Clip it nice and early. You can take all the curb on the way out, and then you powering on up to the crest of the hill before you sweep round, almost a negative camber on this corner. So you've got to give it a bit more than you'd expect on the turning before you get back on the power, head down and cross the line for your lap. Right, and I want to change these. not that one. No, it's not that. That's this one. Nicknames, that's what I wanted. I want it on the nicknames. It's a bit of an annoying system, but there we go. Right, so it is Jax that's on pole with a 1:56.5. That's a phenomenal lap time. So anything sub 57 here is going to put you there or thereabouts for pole in these cars. Amsterdam with a 57.3. He's got that BMW McLaren thing absolutely singing. The car is an absolute travesty of a motor car, but if you can tame this beast, then you can put in absolute stonking times like that. Shark in third position with a little tribute to the Black Flag Racing TV on the side of his car. Thank you very much for that. I tip my hat to you, kind sir. I will keep you informed what the tyres have. That's what that is for. I will keep you updated. Now, some are qualifying on the racing hard tyres, strangely. So, Jax is qualifying on the softs. Amsterdam on the soft. Shark has done a 58.9 on the hard compound tyres. Hard also for Evil Cat and for Stu Shelton in that RCZ. Edinburgh lad, he's just in that 2-minute mark, also on the hard compound tyre, as is Vulpes Hudson and Tinho and Vescu. No, Vescu, sorry, is on the softs. That's a 203. I think you can improve on that, surely. Baldrick, cunning plan to go on those soft compound tyres. 203.5 for him. And JJ on those hard compound tyres hasn't yet set any representative time because it looks like he's had an off-road moment on his last hot lap. Only 10 minutes of qualifying, so you really only get, realistically, 3 proper cracks at it, particularly if you've been a lap. So you want to get a time set early on, early doors, get a half decent time in, just as a kind of buffer to make sure there's something there in case it all goes horribly wrong later on. At the moment, Jax, though, is the man to beat. He's gone sub 57, not been able to recreate those heroics on his last hot lap, but a 1:56.5 is the time to beat as it stands. Hards are mandatory. You have to qualify on the tyres you want to race. Makes sense. So those qualifying on the hard compact tyres, particularly those like Shark, who's up there in the top 5, he's not going to improve on that time with that penalty though, because all tyres are available and hards are mandatory. These guys are obviously, they want to start on the hard compact tyres, get them out of the way. Now, it's no secret, I'm not a big fan of ditching, so having a mandatory tyre that people ditch after 2 laps. I quite like, if you've got to use a mandatory tyre, you've got to use it for a period of time. But we all know the hards are absolutely useless in this, so you don't really want to keep them on for that long. But you've got to take into account there is a times 7 on the tyre wear, so it is going to be quite brutal on the tyres. So actually the hards, what you lose in grip, you'll gain in less degradation and longevity on the racetrack. That is an interesting question actually, who's going to go for a one stop. It certainly can be done, particularly if you're going to use the hard compound tyres. It's whether or not though, it really is, it's the time differential between the hards and the softs. Now you're looking at a 30 odd second pit stop, there or thereabouts, give or take a second either way, right? But if you're losing 3 seconds a lap over 10 laps, that's a pit stop done. So you might be better off with a different tyre. So it really depends on the time loss between those soft, medium and hard compound tyres as to whether it's worthwhile making that judgment. These guys These guys know what they're doing. These guys know what they're doing. They would have practiced and they would have run different scenarios. So those on the hard compound tyres at the moment, like Shark, like Evil Cat, like Vulpes Hudson, they've all got a plan in place. They're going to go out on the hard compound tyres. They may ditch them really, really quickly, just to get them out of the way because they're mandatory. Obviously, the benefit of ditching them early, the big benefit, is that there are going to be people around you that at some stage are going to have to go on those hard compound tyres. So you're going to have the benefit of not needing to do that, and therefore getting that superior grip, the superior torque out of the corners, and all the other benefits you get from not having hard compound tyres. faster lap times being the most important. So we've got everyone's pretty much on their last ditch lap. It's Jax at the moment, the man to beat, with that 156.5. He hasn't been able to beat it himself. Dan's got close. Dan's within 4/10. Gets I was going to say gets a little bit closer, but he didn't that time. 56.9, the best he's got so far in that McLaren BMW. Baldrick, with his cunning plan, was to go 158.2 and be on that second row. He's on his final hot lap. Vesky's joining him at the moment with a 58.4, just 2/10 separating them. Half second back to row 3, which is headed up by the first of those hard tyre runners. That's Shark 73. He's 3/10 up from Evil Cat, who is a hundredth away from Vulps. That's changed already. He's already busted down as Vulps improves his time with a 58.0, snatches second row and pushes Evil Cat down into row 4. JJ joins him on row 4 with that 59.4. Stu Sheldon and Edinburgh lads 9th and 10th on row 5, and Tinio in that GTR, gorgeous looking GTR, 2.7 back with a 2:03.2. Quite a distance, 6.7 seconds separating those 11 cars at the moment. So will it be about, I mean, to be fair, he's on those hard compound tyres, so I'm sure he's got some tenths in it. And bear in mind that Jax was also on the soft compound tyre, so I reckon there's a few seconds in it. I'm looking at JJ's pretty quick. He's done a 59.4 on those hard tyres. I imagine if he can find another couple of seconds, which I imagine would be pretty easy to do with those softs, then yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting race. We're going to see these guys on the soft compound tyres. We're going to see them disappearing off into the distance quite quickly with that superior grip. Vulps, of course, on those hard compound tyres. Will he be able to hold off Vescu from behind? He's going to be on the soft compounds. He's going to have that opportunity to make the overtake on him. How long can he hold him behind him? That's the question. For the hard tyre runners, it's going to be about just managing that first stint. They've got it's 21 laps of racing. They know that the other cars that haven't started on the hard compound tyres will have to use them at some stage. So they've got that benefit that they will be on much better tyres later on down the line. So Jax is going to be on pole, joined by Amsterdam, Baldrick and Vulps Hudson on row 2. It's Vescu and Shark heading out row 3. Evil Cat and JJ, they're on row 4. Stu Shell and Edinburgh lads, who are friends if I'm not mistaken, are together on row 5, holding hands, being happy. And Tinio is on row 6. We can scroll down, can't we? So we can see that. There we go. No, we can't. And I'm at the bottom. You can't see me. I'm hidden underneath it. In a Veyron, we did a little run around Le Mans on Monday. A little 24 hours in, I think we did it in over 15 laps. So it literally went from day to night very, very quickly. And there was the threat of rain, but it didn't rain in the end, which screwed my race up, because I was kind of hoping for it, because I underfueled on a pit stop thinking it might rain, and I could put some in on my second stop, and then it didn't rain, so I wouldn't have had to stop again. But there we go. It is what it is. So 21 laps. It's going to be an interesting race, I think. And I think the key here is going to be how well those hard tyre runners like Vulps, like Shark, Evil Cat, those guys there, how well they can keep up with the soft tyre runners at the beginning of this race. And also how long they stay on the tyres. Are they going to make the decision to bin them at the end of lap 1, get rid of them? Or are they going to stick on them for a while and use that additional tyre wear? Because you're only looking at time 7, I think you're looking at 6, maybe 7 laps before your softs are shot. But without further ado, let's get into the race and get cracking. We want to get rid of that. We want to get all of that on. And as usual, we'll go back to sort of 6th place. And then we get a good view of what's going on all over. PD Snow, how you doing, man? I'm sure I've seen you before somewhere. And we are away. Great start there. You can see on the left hand side streaming through as we watch with Shark into turn 1. How much insurance is people paying out today? No tappy there. Everyone through safely there. That's an awesome start. And you can see the battle there already. Shark and Volks moving up through the order. And they're on the hard compound tyres. Amsterdam's already taken the lead from Jax up in first position. You can see him there in that McLaren BMW monstrosity. So Jack's dropping in behind, tucking in the slipstream, although he's not going to get much tow from a car that's half the size. It's not really going to block out the wind resistance for him. It's essentially, if he gets any closer to that car, it'll essentially be like a little wing hanging off the front of his car. Volks Hudson, he's on hard compound tyres. He's already shown some significant pace, pulling away from Shark there in fourth. Vescu on those soft compound tyres, he's down in fifth position at the moment. And then we've got a long line of cars all behind him. That's JJ, 3/10 back. It's Baldrick, another 3/10 back. Bit of a gap to Stu Shelton and Edinburgh Lad, who are literally on top of each other. And this is quite an interesting battle. This is a battle for essentially 8th place, and the cars are all over each other. There's no real space for anyone at the moment. So you can see here that Tino is on those hard compound tyres, definitely trying to stay with Evil Cat. Evil Cat is on the hards as well, as is Edinburgh Lad, as is Stu Shelton. Baldrick is the last of the soft tyre runners as they head into the chicane for the first time. This is lap 1 of 21. It's the ZFS World Series Season 4 at the Nürburgring Grand Prix track. This is round 2 of 6, I think. I think it's 6. Hooray for doing my homework, of course. It is 15 corners, 3.2 miles of pure unadulterated racing from one of the iconic racing circuits of the world. There isn't much in the world of motor racing that doesn't happen on one track or another here in Germany at the Nürburgring. So Amsterdam has taken the lead of this race. Jax is still with him. They're starting just to edge away from those hard tyre runners behind. Build themselves a bit of a gap. That gap being 1.8 seconds. Jax is tucked in behind Amsterdam and just hoping to save a little bit of fuel, save his tyres a little bit being in that slipstream, and wait for the opportunity to boom on ahead. Without Sheikh Djibouti racing out this day, he was absolutely phenomenal last week. It gives these guys a chance to top the tree, nick some points and move up those rankings. Volks Hudson in third. He's just holding that 1.5 second gap back to Shark, currently running in fourth position. 4C really singing around here. It's not a bad car actually. I never used to like it much in GT7. And then I used it for a daily race a while ago now. I can't remember which one it was actually. But I found it to be quite a decent car. It's not super fast in a straight line, but it is relatively nice handling. Shark's in that Honda NSX with obviously the tribute toss on the side, so he's obviously the best. It's the best looking car, of course. One thing I found about the NSX, and I don't know if you guys find this, is that it's very much throttle on or off with it. It's quite hard to feather the throttle on the NSX. It's almost like you touch the throttle and you're full on. And I don't know if it's just a feature of that particular car or if it's just the way I drive, but that seems to be a big feature of this car. And some people like it. It's a very good car, very strong in a straight line. But that's Shark there in fourth, and we can see there, that's Baldrick there in seventh. That's Stu Shelton there in 8th. That's the battle for 4th at the moment. Stu Shelton pulling away from Evil Cat and Edinburgh Ladder up into 8th position. And, everything's still really close. Everything's still really to fight for. You've got Jack and Amsterdam disappearing off into the distance. Volps is holding off Shark at the moment by about 1.5 seconds. And then from that point onwards, 4th backwards, this is the battle that's raging on. And any one of these cars are in a position to put themselves on that podium. They're on hard compound tyres. Stu Shelton's on hard compounds. Baldrick's not. He's on those softs. But if he can make some inroads, because you've got JJ on hards ahead of him. You've got Vescu hard ahead on softs. Now these guys on softs really need to make moves on those hard compound tyre runners. So Vescu needs to make moves on Shark and Volks up ahead. He needs to get the most out of those tyres while he can. JJ there on those hards, absolutely all over the back of Vescu in a minute. really getting some awesome pace out of this BMW on those hard compound tyres, and it looks to me that he's going to run them. No one's dived into the pits yet to get rid of them, so it looks like these guys are quite happy with the high tyre wear to use these hard compound tyres. And that's Vescu going a little bit wide, almost giving JJ a bit of space to get through. Not quite close enough to make the move, but he's going to have a great run up the hill now towards the chicane, tucked right in behind him. And as they flick round to this right hand side, has he got enough to make the move? He's not going to be able to brake as late as he would like to on the hard compound. You can see there the soft compound tyres getting a little bit more grip, but he's made a couple of mistakes, and it's allowing JJ just to edge ever closer, and that's pulling the guys behind. Now it looks to me that JJ at the moment is being held up by Vescu ahead of him, because Baldrick and Stu Shelton are both on the back of him, and this is an interesting fight now for a place, certainly to try and fight for a top 3 position. Jack's now ahead of Amsterdam into the lead, and he's ahead by some margin, 1.1 seconds, 1:55.8 from Jack's. Is an absolutely stonking, out of this world next level lap around here. If you can maintain that sort of pace, you're going to be the one to watch, most certainly. So JJ's still trying to make that move on Vescu, but there is Baldrick there. He's tucked right up behind JJ. These guys really getting pulled into this fight because JJ can't, because it's going to be the problem with the tyres, is that when you want to get your foot down on the accelerator out of the corners, that slightly superior grip, that superior grip you get from the soft compound tyres, it lets you go round the fast corners quicker because you can hold that car at that little bit more speed because the tyres have that much more grip. You can get the power down so much earlier when it allows you just to get that car on the accelerator and pull away. But Baldrick in a minute is, we can see from Baldrick's eyes, watching that butt head, JJ desperately trying to find a way around Vescu. So Jack's up in the lead of this race. He made the move on Amsterdam, and he's starting to open up a gap, 1.4 seconds. Really got that GTR, which is a very good car, by the way. Get that car really kind of moving. He was on pole. He's going to bear in mind that these guys are on soft compound tyres, and you can see already the tyre wear, even after 4 laps, it's already starting to chew in to those tyres. So we're going to be looking somewhere around lap 8-9 is when these guys are going to start thinking about their first pit stop. The guys in the hard compound tyres, if they can stay within touching distance of these guys, certainly Volts and Shark, then Volts is ditching the hard compound tyres. He's got no interest in staying on them. Shark, however, staying out. He moves up into third. He's already 12 seconds off the lead, 10.7 seconds. Fastest lap for him, almost more than 3 seconds. 3 seconds difference. I said it was about 3 seconds, didn't I, between the softs and the hards? So there we go. So if you're going to do 10 laps on the hard compound tyres, you're better off pitting, because that's essentially a free pit stop. So stick to the soft compound tyres. Vescu, he's still holding on there in 4th. JJ just backed off a little bit, has 1 second off the pace. Now maybe that's because he's struggled to get around this. He doesn't want to make any mistakes and risk causing a problem. Baldrick there in 6th, Stu Shelton there in 7th, really putting away now from Edinburgh lad Evil Cat Tino at the back there, 4.4 seconds. Edinburgh lad's been into the pits, he's ditched his hard compound tyres, he's back out now on those racing softs. Volks Hudson also, he's gone for the mediums. Interesting choice that. Now this will be something they would have tested. How much more time can you get out of the mediums and the softs, and how much more grip do you get on the mediums over the hards? And you've got to find that balance. If there's only 1 or 2 laps in it between the softs, then you're going soft tyres all the way. If there's 3, 4, maybe 5 laps more on those medium compound tyres, then it becomes a viable option, especially if you're only losing kind of a second and a half to your time on the softs. So Edinburgh lad at the back, he's 12 seconds back after a pit stop. I'm wondering if he had some damage to repair, which of course will come off of his insurance bill. So Jack still leads the way, and he's really started to open up now. 2.8 seconds, absolutely flying. Constantly in those mid to high 56s, although he's got an entire second faster with a 1:55.8. I do apologise if I have a coughing fit. My daughter works in a nursery, and she picks up all kinds of bugs and brings them home. And yeah, I've been feeling a little bit under the weather today and coughing my lovely guts up. So Shark dives into the pits to get rid of those hard compound tyres. That leaves on those hards then just JJ and Stu Shelton and Evil Cats. They're the only ones still left on those hard compound tyres. And to be fair, JJ's pace on those hard compound tyres isn't that shabby. He's keeping Baldrick at bay, and Baldrick's on the softs. He was for a time putting a bit of pressure on Vescu, and Vescu's on those softs. Now he is now 13 seconds already behind Amsterdam in second, and he himself is 3.5 seconds behind Jax. Jax absolutely on fire today, dominating this racetrack like he owns it. Sorry, bear with me. That was one of those coughing fits I was telling you about. I don't want to cough into your faces. Of course not. Right. Where's the battle? Can Baldrick make moves on those soft compound tyres around JJ? But that half-second penalty is only going to drop him closer to Stu Shelton, who's starting to drop off from this battle a little bit. And that'll be purely the hard compound tyre. Now, can Baldrick make a move or make this time back up? So you can see there, slows you down. See how much time it loses him. By the time he gets to the top of the hill, he's going to be over a second behind. Daddy's normally really good at strategy, keeping an eye on what he does. He usually finds the best strat. Well, sometimes that is the way. You know, there's a few guys that race in our Alpha series where you kind of wonder. They pit at really odd moments. It was one guy pitted completely out of the blue. There was nothing wrong with his tyres, nothing wrong with his fuel. But it's those guys you need to watch, because, you know, I think from Jack's perspective, he may be 4 seconds clear. But he'll know that Dan's got that strategic mind, that strategy genius, and he'll want to make the gap as big as possible to make the strategy options for Dan as hard as possible. But Dan might not be bothered. He might be looking, thinking, I don't mind 4 seconds. I've got X amount of plan. This is what I'm going to do. I think I can beat that GTR over the course of 21 laps. We're on lap 7, of course. Let's do the full run through from the back. Pop pickers, and there's Edinburgh Lad. He is 12 seconds behind Shark. They both started on hard compound tyres and changed them out now for those softs. There is Shark in that Honda NSX, or not too far from the back of Wolf Hudson, who is in the 4-seat and on the medium compound tyre. Is that going to help Shark make that move? He was behind him for a time earlier on in the race. Now he's got that opportunity now to make the move. Can he get that move done? You can see just how close he is to the back of him as we run there. I mean, and there's Tino not too far up the road. Tino running on the soft compound tyre, and he's got some damage as Tino. That's going to cost him some bucks to get that repaired. ZFS run a kind of, because it's a career racing mode, they run an insurance-based system. So if you crash your car, it's not just a pit stop to repair your car you've got to worry about. There are associated costs with the repair of said car, and of course insurance premiums that go with it. Very detailed, very cool. It's just a shame that they race on nights that I broadcast. I would love to get involved in a race or two. Maybe when I have a down season, I'll get involved in something. How about that? Excuse me. So Tino, 9 seconds back to Evil Cat. The battle for 8th at the moment is these 3 guys. Now Tino is going to be looking at those tyres now. Lap 7. I think lap 10 is probably when those soft compound tyres will have had their day, or at least be screaming at him, please change me. Evil Cat on his own at the minute. He's got no one around him. He's kind of racing by himself with Stu Shelton, almost 5 seconds up the road. He's 3 seconds off the back of Baldrick. But he stayed out on those hard compound tyres for this race. He's going to run a really long stint. It looks to me that he's going to run the fuel down and then go for a quick second stint with a full 1-stop. I think it is a 1-stop race, however you dress it up. unless you're only running, well, I say you're only running soft, you've got to run the hards as mandatory. And that's going to be key actually for Jax and for Amsterdam out in the lead, is those guys still going to run the hard compound tyre at some stage. So are they going to just one stop it, run it for the second portion of the race, or are they going to do the quick switcheroo, in for tyres, out for tyres, in for tyres again, with a couple of drips of petrol on the way. Baldrick there on the back of JJ still can't find a way around him though. JJ still couldn't find a way around Vesky. He's on the hard compound side, still holding on. Similar strategy, I think, to that Stu Shelton, hanging those hard tyres out further into races. Actually going to suit him. Amsterdam is the first to blink of those front runners. He's into the pits to change out those soft compound tyres. Does he now put on the hards and run to the end? That's the burning question everyone wants answered. And if you hurry up into the pits, we'll be able to see exactly what you're doing. So in he comes. He's changing out the tyres. And he's putting on what? He's putting on fuel first, of course. Why? He's gone for the hard compound tyres, as we thought he would. Now, does he stay to the end on these tyres? He comes out in 6th. He's not in the middle of traffic. That's good. It gives him the opportunity. He doesn't have to defend from anyone. He doesn't have to fight anyone. It gives him the opportunity just to get those tyres up to temperature, get the grip that he can out of them, get the feel for them. You've got to bear in mind he'll already have a rhythm on those soft compound tyres, so that rhythm will change now. The braking points will change, the speed through those fast corners will change, the exit points will change slightly because of that differential in grip. And of course when they're cold as well, it makes a difference. So he's just going to have to find that new rhythm now in those tyres. You can see that he lost a bit of time to Stu, but he is going to try and make that back. The key, of course, is going to be you've got Stu Shelton there, you've got Baldrick there. He's going to be pitting very, very soon on those soft compound tyres. JJ ahead of him. Does he hang it out there? How much longer does he hang it out there for? Look, you can't do. I think 10 laps is probably the maximum for these soft compound tyres. So he's going to have to stay out to lap 11 at least, which he's certainly got enough fuel to do that. Vescu, he's on soft compound tyres, but he's really looked after them. He's got some really good wear out there. Or did he pit at the end of lap 1? I think he pit at the end of lap 1. Or lap 2 was it? It says he pit, but the time doesn't suggest that he did. Let's have a look at Amsterdam. Yeah, the time doesn't suggest he did pit. Maybe that's a mistake, and he didn't pit at all. So, yeah, interesting. It certainly looks like it, because there's quite a lot of the... And fuel does make a big difference. Arby makes a really good point there. Fuel makes a massive difference, particularly on the low refuel rates. Because if you're looking at, for 6 litres a second, every single litre of fuel you can save while racing is 1 second less you're spending in the pits than the guys around you. If we look at Jax's fuel in comparison there, that's a good couple of litres of fuel there, difference between them. That's a good few seconds in the pits. Looking at Baldrick as well. Baldrick, his fuel's looking pretty good. JJ's not looking so great on fuel. He's going to have to pit soon anyway. I think Jax's tyres, I think, are going to give out before his fuel does. So we'll see. No, he didn't. It says he does, but I didn't think he did, because the time there doesn't suggest, unless he did the outlap from hell. He hasn't. He's done a really good job on those softs. That's a fantastic job. And actually, I think Vescu, with the way he's looked after his fuel and the way he's looked after those tyres, unless of course his outlap from a pit was absolutely phenomenal. If he can make those tyres last, potentially based on the wear there, he could run until the tank is empty, and that could be somewhere around lap 12 or 13. And then he's in a really, really unique, in fact, close to lap 13. He's in a really unique position that he can run the hards to the end, not have to run them for as long as anybody else, but also have the opportunity to make a bit of a gap, because Jax is going to have to come in sooner than later. He is staying out for another lap, but by the end of this lap, those tyres are going to be ropey as hell. And unless he is some kind of demon, and there are drivers out there that can drive on full red, I've seen them. There's one that races for the VRC Virtual Racers Club, who is an absolute homesick alien, his name is. And I've genuinely seen this guy on this track. I can't remember what car it was, but on this track, go full reds for 3 laps. On full red softs for 3 laps and not drop a tenth. It was ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. So Vescu is the man to watch at the minute, I think. Amsterdam potentially. Did he pit too soon? That's the big burning question. He's going to pit again. You can tell by the fact he didn't put a lot of fuel in that he is planning on ditching those hard compound tyres and going back onto the softs for the rest of the race. Now we know from Vescu that, well, I think we use Baldrick as an example because Baldrick's just got in at the end of lap 10. So 10 laps on the soft compound tyres, I think, is pretty much there or thereabouts. Jax has made it to a lap 11. Excuse me. Although we don't know if he's coming in or not. Who is Messi that keeps popping in and popping out? Do not realise that doing that can absolutely balls up what are already very fragile lobbies. Let's be brutally honest. There are some very fragile lobbies here in Gran Turismo 7. Right, back of the pack. Let's have a little look at what we're looking at. Stu Shelton is back out on those medium compound tyres in that Peugeot, the RCZ. There's 2 seconds behind JJ. JJ pits from those hard compound tyres onto the softs. He's going to the end on these soft compound tyres, no question in my mind. Same for Stu as well. Tino, he's done quite well on those tyres as well. Held it out to lap 11 in that GTR. He's right behind Edinburgh lad who pits, who hasn't pit. Has he not pit? Yeah, of course he has. I'm sure he has. I'm sure Edinburgh lad's starting on the hard compound tyres, so he must have pit. Yeah, he did. He pitted really early. He pitted at the end of lap 2. By the looks of things, which is why he dropped well off the pace. So Jax is in, and through goes Vescu into the lead of the race. Now it's all about what he can do now on those with what he's got left in the tank. He's got low fuel, remember, so let's wait. And what he can do on those soft compound tyres in terms of building a bit of a gap. It's going to be somewhere, I was going to say about 12 seconds, and there we go, 12 and a half seconds as Amsterdam comes through. Jax is out of the pits, but they're getting a bit bogged down there with, I think that's a back marker that's in their way at the moment, isn't it? Trying to find out who's holding them up. Tino into the pits. Who's that getting held? Oh, that's Shark. There's Shark there getting involved as well. So he's made the move on Jax. He's picked up a penalty for track limits, making that move. So, yeah, so he's in between Jax and Amsterdam. So Dan's made a massive jump over Jax with that early pit stop. Jax, of course, is on the hard compound tyre. He's running to the end. You can see by the fuel that he's planned on running to the end. Amsterdam is not. He's going to have to pit again unless he's got a fuel-saving strategy that none of us have thought of. He will be pitting again, and I imagine putting on soft compound tyres to run to the end. But we want to watch Vescu because Vescu has done you can only be described as, did he pay for the tyres himself? Because he has looked after them so well, and his lap times have not been too shabby at all. I mean, look, it's 58.9. It's not been the crazy 155.8 we saw from Jax, but it's been pretty steady, which is a 58.9 on a sort of steady racing lap is pretty darn good. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right, RB. It's brilliant. So Vescu comes in. He probably could have gone another lap, to be fair. It looks like he had the fuel. He certainly could have gone another lap on those tyres. Let's have a look at Shark. Yeah, he is looking pretty good on those soft compound tyres, but he's going to have to get rid of them soon. His fuel's quite low, so he's definitely got another pit stop in him. So Vescu pitting now. I imagine this will be his last pit of the race. Dan comes through, takes the lead. Shark there in second now. Jax in third, but he's on the hard compounds and he's running to the end. He may get the fastest lap point, but I think that's going to be a struggle for him to make the move. We'll see, actually. I think the only saving grace for Jax at the moment is the fact that both Shark and Amsterdam have to pit. They absolutely have to pit. Volb's there on the mediums. I think he's going to have to pit as well. He hasn't got enough fuel on board. So actually, I think Jax is in a really good position. But now it's kind of settled down a little bit. Jax doesn't have to worry so much. 2 seconds off the lead at the moment. He's running to the end of this race. but all the cars around him, including Evil Cat there in 5th, Vescu is the only driver in the top 6, other than Jax, that doesn't have to pit. That is very true. Dan's not going to the end on that fuel. Yeah, Danny's not going to the end on that. Dan's still going to have to pit again. So, yeah, I see what you mean. The question is now is how much can he get away with putting on, and then can he make that time back up? He's going to be on soft. Shark having a little look at Amsterdam. Dan does not want that. He's put him right into Jax's crosshairs. He wanted to be ahead of Jax when he comes into the pits. Most certainly. He didn't want to be in a battle with him at this stage. He wanted to be coming up behind him towards the end of the race and putting him under a bit of pressure. But that's a great move from Shark. Absolutely fabulous move from Shark up into the lead of this race. It will be short-lived, of course, because Shark is going to have to pit, and Amsterdam also going to have to pit. But at the moment, I think Arby's right. I think I'm right. Jax regains the lead of this race, and I think he's played a blinder, hanging that car out there on those soft compound tyres for 11 laps, and then just going for the one stopper is making all the difference. The key is going to be, I think the cars behind when they come out, has Volp's got anything to offer? It looks to me that he's going to have to pit again. Shark is in, Dan's in, Evil Cat's in, JJ now the closest driver to Jax that doesn't need to pit again. He's going to have to look after the tyres a little bit towards the end. No, I don't think he did. I think he planned on ditching. It may be that he could have planned on running on those hard compound tyres and then accidentally pressed the don't refuel button, but he put some fuel in, so it could have been an accident. But I think he planned on ditching those hard compound tyres early, and maybe expected Jax to do the same. Maybe that's what happened. He expected Jax to do the same, kind of outthought himself and thought, you know what, I'm going to two-stop it, see what happens. But yeah, it's going to cost him, because Shark out ahead of him, and Shark is going to, of course, run to the end. Dan also. Now, he's 1.7 behind Shark. He's 35 seconds off the lead. Now, in that top 7, Vescu does not have to pit. Jax does not have to pit. This could very well be a Jax Vescu 1-2 by the way it's looking, unless of course Vescu on those hard compound tyres can find some kind of crazy pace. Stu Shelton as well, actually. Don't count him out for a top 3. He doesn't have to pit either. He's on the medium tyres. He's got fuel. It's going to be a struggle towards the end, but he's got fuel to get him there. I think Stu Shelton, bear in mind, he started 9th. So for him to be up there now, that's phenomenal. Let's have a quick look where Stu Shelton was expected to finish. We're having a little look here. So Stu Shelton was expected to finish 6th. He qualified in 9th. He's in 5th at the moment, but a top 3 is very much on the cards for him. That's Volps into the pits from 2nd. JJ will come through unless, of course, he comes in. He's staying out now, so JJ doesn't need to pit. Right, okay, let's get this right. So Jax doesn't need to. Volps did. JJ doesn't need to. Vescu doesn't need to. So Stu Shelton potentially top 3, but certainly top 4. He's making the move now on Shark. Shark also running to the end of this race. So Stu Shelton up into 3rd place. Into turn 1 he goes. Can he hold it off? Is the switcheroo on for Vescu? No, it's not. So he's up to 3rd. So if he can stay ahead now of Vescu, that's a podium for him, because no one else around. There we go. So you see Vescu's running to the end. Shark to the end now. Dan in 6th. He's got an awful lot of work to do. Stu started on the hard compound tyre, so he started on the hards, which I said that those that started on the hards would get a lot of benefit. The only person I think who's had the benefit from starting on softs has been the rocket ship that is Jax, and I think that 155.8 laid down a marker early on in the race that told everybody who was going to be on the top step of the podium today, celebrating like a wild man. Right, Tinio is at the back, but he's not out of it yet. He's all over the back of Baldrick, who's going to need a cunning plan to shake him off. 2.6 seconds the gap between him and Edinburgh Lads up in 9th. That's a horse's name, isn't it? It's Evil Cat, 2 furlongs from Volps Hudson. I couldn't do it. I don't like horse racing. I do like whacking a few quid on it, but it's boring. 4/10 behind Dan. So at the moment, Dan is actually more. Dan was out there in the top 2, and it was all looking very comfortable. It looked like he had the strategy down and he had the plan, and then it's changed. Everything has changed now. Now he's not only probably not going to get a podium, other than something else happening up ahead, but he's going to be struggling for 6th. He's going to be battling to keep 6th place because Volps Hudson is all over him like an unwanted rash. And you can see with that slipstream, the only benefit Dan's got is he's picking up some slip from Vescu up ahead of him. Sim horse racing. Yeah, that's an incredibly niche. Funny you say that. There is a sim horse racing game. I don't think it's called sim horse racing. I think it's called something else. But you can buy like a little thingy. It was on the... I don't know. It's quite an old game. I remember it on the... I think it was on the Wii. You could buy like a thingy to go on those sticks for the Wii, and you could shake it like you were riding a horse. So there is actually a sim horse racing game. But yeah, you're right. It's a crazy niche market. Yeah, can you imagine? A real... like some people use real racing seats as their sim seats. You're like a dead racehorse stuffed in your front room as your sim rig for sim horse racing. That would be a thing of beauty. Or those hobby horses, like with the horse's head on a stick. That's the best one. That one, horse's head on a stick, and it's in a Fanatec gear shifter. There we go, Fanatec. I'll come up with the ideas. You can send me a brand new steering wheel. Thank you very much. So Vol's got the run on Vescu. Can he make this move up into 6th place? Because Dan's made his way up into 5th, and he's made that move. But he hasn't made it stick. Oh, that's side by side through there. That's ballsy. But he makes the move. Dead racehorse, yeah. Right. So the battle raging on there. Dan has secured himself in that top 5. For a while, it was a worry where he'd be in the top 6. He's in that top 5. But Jack's 17 laps in, 17 seconds clear. What can you say? It's been a phenomenal race from him. JJ, he's got a 9-second gap over Shark. So top 3 looking to be nailed on. Well, I say looking to be nailed on. It's not at the moment because Stu Shelton has made the move on Shark. Shark's made the move back on him. These two now racing it out to the line. It's a prize worth racing for. He's on the medium compound tyre. In that top 3, Shark is on the softs, as is JJ, although his tyres towards the end of the stint are going to be a little bit worrying. Shark there, he's got plenty of tyre left. He can really push. He's got the fuel to take it. In fact, he probably overfueled a little bit. He can absolutely push to the end of this race. He's got Stu Shelton 1.9 behind. He's on the mediums, so he is going to be losing a little bit of grip to Shark ahead. Now, Dan on a charge. There was me a couple of laps ago questioning his top 6 credentials. He's closed that gap to Stu Shelton to 1.5 seconds. He is absolutely flying at the minute. Mid to late 57s on a consistent basis. It's still, that's the crazy thing. Dan's not slow. He's on the soft compound tyres. And he's still 2 seconds off the fastest lap put in by Jax early on. Jax is truly a demon. I don't know how he did it, but phenomenal lap that for 155. Yeah, JJ does have to watch his tyre. You're absolutely right. Volps Hudson, Dan dispatched him quite simply, but he's comfortably now ahead of Vescu in that top 6. He's got a little bit of pressure. Vescu, he's on the hards, and from behind there in the 4C on the soft compound tyres is Evil Cat. All cats are evil. You don't have to specify. You just have to say cat. But he's there half a second back and putting some pressure on Vescu for a place in the top 7. And he's got a good run on him coming down the hill. And he may be able to make this move before they even get to turn 1. Drag racing it down to turn 1 they go. It is 4C versus Z4, and they're side by side into the braking zone. Brakes so much later in that 4C as you can do on those soft compound tyres. Gets it slowed down, gets that overtake done, and Vesky now I think he's going to resign himself to 8th place because he is 14 seconds clear of Edinburgh Lad. 3.1 back to Baldrick in 10th position. And still 1.1 to Tino. So Tino's still in it, not down and out in that GTR. Back to JJ because his tyres... now, it's on lap 18 of 21. His tyres are okay at the moment, but come lap 20, they're not going to be quite as comfortable as they are now. And that could put Shark in a really good position. He's currently lapping in those mid to low 57s in that Z4. So good, solid times. Though Jack's doing 59s. So that gap is coming down, and it will be consistently, but not enough time left, I think, to make that difference. Shark is very similar on those low 57s, but he's got a lot more tyre to play with, which means he can keep on pushing when JJ has to start thinking about his rubber. And of course, the other danger is that when you lose that rubber, can you still hit the curbs as you do? Can you still risk putting a wheel on the grass? Can you still risk getting on the power that little bit earlier? You can't, because the car will punish you, and these BMWs love to send the back end where the front end should be. So that puts Dan in a good position. 3.4 seconds to Shark. He's doing similar times to him. Now, I think it's going to be difficult for top three, because I think Shark and Dan doing very almost comparable times. Although there was 56.9 in there from Dan. But the times are relatively comparable. And with only 3 laps remaining, he's going to need to be chucking out 1.1 seconds a lap faster than Shark to put him under any significant pressure. And then, of course, he's got to try and pass him, which is no mean feat, particularly as they're both running on soft compound tyre. Now, I think his best hope for a top 3 is that JJ's tyres give out, and it ends spectacularly for him. Vault Hudson's still under no pressure from Stu Shelton, but I imagine with those soft compound tyres, he can just hold him at bay. Stu on those mediums, 6.4 clear of Cat. Don't need to put in the evil, we already told you that. JJ's going to want to watch, because those tyres, every single corner, he's losing more and more rubber on those front tyres, and he's really going to need that grip soon. 7.6 seconds, the gap ahead of Shark. Jackson predicted 7th for tonight, and get a race win, pole position, fastest lap, and drive wedge. I think that's a good day at the office, I would say. Predicted 7th and puts in a 1:55.8. Absolute shoo-in. That is phenomenal to finish that much higher. But then, but also you have to consider that means his prediction next time out won't be quite so favourable. Right, so we're on lap 20 of 21. It is Jack's the rocket ship. 13 seconds clear. The time will come down. He's been flipping between 13 and 14, to be fair, but that time will come down. JJ's going to have to slow down a little bit to preserve what's left of those tyres, and that's very, very wide through there, but I think you can pretty much get away with it in that part of the racetrack. Shark now will be licking his lips if that time starts coming down significantly quicker. It's not coming down quick enough for his liking at the moment. He needs 3.5 seconds a lap, essentially. So he does need those tyres to step away from JJ in a big way. JJ actually can just back off a little bit. He's got a big enough cushion to back off, put him too much pressure through those tyres and save them for as long as possible. Dan is pushing like his life depends upon it, but I think it's too little too late, and 4th place isn't bad. It's not where he would have liked to have finished, and I think that extra stop, well, you can see there, the extra stop was 30 seconds, 23 seconds behind Jax. Had he stopped this race, he would be fighting, I don't think just for a podium, I think he'd be fighting for the race win here. But alas, You can only pick the strategy you think is going to work best, and that's what he did. He didn't feel confident enough with those hard compound tires for any length of time, and I think if that's the case, you have to go with your gut, and you have to run with what you think is going to do the best job for you. Sorry, needed a drink. Sorry, apologies for that. Wolves Hudson 9 tenths behind Amsterdam. He is actually getting a little bit quicker. He's finding a better pace in these last knockings of this race in that Alfa Romeo. Go, little Alfa, go. And he's got a good little run now with Slipstream. I don't know why he's not tucked in. He should be tucked right in behind that on the way down to turn 1. Potentially, somewhere on his final lap, we could see a change for 4th place, potentially. I don't think anywhere else we're going to see any changes. Right, final run through before we follow the leaders across the line. It's Jax, 15 seconds over JJ, whose tyres have said, no thank you. That gap's now 4.2 seconds between him and Shark. Watch his space, because if he cocks this up, this could be Amsterdam in the top 3 potentially. Shark 3.2 ahead of Dan, who is a little bit worried by Wolves Hudson behind him at the moment. 6/10 back. He's got to hold him off. He's only got about half a lap to go to hold him off, so not too much yet. Stu Shelton in 6th. Evil Cat in 7th. He's 10 seconds clear of Vescu, who's 6.8 clear of Edinburgh Lad. 3.4 ahead of Baldrick, and Tino 23 seconds back, just starting the final lap of the race. Let's sit with Jax as we round the last or come towards the last braking zone of this race for him. Lap 21 here. He has absolutely dominated this. He dominated qualifying, took pole position, dominated the first portion of this race, putting in a fastest lap that can only be described as unfathomable, a 1:55.8. He's going to take the win as he crosses the line, and hands held aloft, it is Jax that takes the win here at the Nürburgring Grand Prix. I was going to say Nordschleife, but it's not. Absolutely phenomenal race. That's fastest lap, that's race win, that's pole position. Absolutely dominated. JJ, the gap ended up 2 seconds in the end. Held on though. Shark holds on for that final podium position in that Honda. Dan home in 4th. Wolves Hudson was close, but no cigar. 5th place for him. 6th for Stu Shelton. Good run from him, actually. That's bang on around his prediction. Evil Cat home in 7th. 12 seconds clear of Vescu, who at one stage we thought might be doing something a bit further up the field. And ironically, the only non-Brit on the podium, on the roster this evening. Edinburgh Lad home in 9th position. Yeah, there we go. Baldrick home in 10th. And Tino brings up the rear. Round that final bend, he comes in that GTR with the bum on the side of his car. The GTR with the bum on the side of the car. And across the line, boom, done. But all the plaudits have to go to this guy here. Absolutely phenomenal finish from him. You've got to say that, I mean, he didn't put a foot wrong in that entire race. I think from Dan's perspective, I think if Dan had one stop this race, I think it would have been a very different scenario for him. I think he cost himself a podium position by not one stopping, but 4th place still quite respectable. Baldrick in 2nd. Why does it say Baldrick in 2nd? That's not right. That can't be right. No, of course it's not. What I'm talking about, this is the actual correct thing. JJ in 2nd. There we go. In that Z4. Shark in 3rd. It's a good finish from those two as well. JJ nearly losing out to poor tyres, but just held on long enough to keep Shark at bay. Dan in the McLaren FT1 GTR BMW, coming home in 4th. Wolves Hudson in 5th. It was Stu Shelton in that RCZ coming home in 6th place. Evil Cat in the 4C in 7th. Vescu rounding out the top 8 in that Z4. The NSX for Edinburgh Lad in 9th. V12 Vantage for Baldrick. He was in 10th, and Tino in the GTR Nismo coming home in 11th place. What another fantastic race. Don't forget to check them out at www.zfs.co.uk. Or zfsracing.co.uk. Give this a like, give this a share, and now go and watch Lobby 2 with the dulcet tones of my young Padawan, Cruentus. Thank you very much for joining me. I will do, from next week, we'll be doing driver interviews. I want to shake this cough and cold off first. So thank you very, very much for joining me. It's been an absolute pleasure yet again. I've been UrbanPyrate. This has been Black Flag Racing TV with the ZFS World Series Season 4, and it's been emotional.